He's got a lot of good things. Everything's done good.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm glad to see this room filled to capacity, but you still have a couple chairs up front if you want to move up there. I always like to welcome everybody here, and if it's your first time, welcome. We're glad to have you, and if it's your 100th time, well, you're in for another treat. First of all, I just have to congratulate all the teachers for another outstanding year. And you're in for a treat for a well-deserved summer break. If you're going to be teaching summer school, well, congratulations again. You got a long summer ahead of you. But anyway, glad to see y'all made it and survived another year. And as always, as Mr. Atkins says, please recharge. Be with your family, go to the beach, go to vacations, go on cruises and all that, and be prepared for another great year, an outstanding year in August. So first of all, I'd like to start out with a moment of silence. Just kind of reflect, as I always say, reflect on the outstanding year that we had, and also have it going forward with everybody a safe summer and a start up of another great year in August. So if you would just have a moment of silence, and then after that we'll stand for the pledge. Thank you. Please stand. Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please call roll.
Caruso.
Here.
Daniel.
Here.
Dryden.
Here.
Hartsfield.
Here.
Jacobs. Mabry.
Here.
Nidert.
Here.
Rochelle.
Here.
Weathers.
Here.
8 present, 1 absent.
8 out of 9, we do have a quorum. Before I go in, are there any additions to the agenda for tonight? Any board members want to add anything, or are there any subtractions? I don't believe there's any subtractions we got. So moving on, we have several recognitions tonight. And the first one is for retired educator, and that being Ms. Ellis.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. Tonight, I have the privilege of recognizing a former teacher that I had in school that that's no longer with us that I miss dearly. Thankfully, his family is here tonight, and I'm thankful that they could be here. So tonight, I want to recognize Johnny Elledge. Johnny moved to Lawrenceburg at the age of 5. His parents, when Johnny was born in Florida, and they traveled from Florida to Missouri working, and then at age 5, he settled in Lawrence County. He was a graduate from Lawrence County High School in 1970. He started his getting his teaching degree at Columbia State and finished his degree at MTSU, where, oddly enough, he roomed with Mickey Dunn. I bet that was interesting. Mr. Elledge went on to get his master's and his EDS at TSU. He married Miss Nelda in 1979. They had 3 kids, Colby, Nick, and Molly. He started his teaching career at David Crockett Elementary in 1974. And besides that, that's where he spent most of his career. He had a brief stint as principal at Etheridge Elementary, and in 2007, he finished at Ingram South. Now, I had Mr. Elledge in the 5th grade, and that was the first year at elementary school at David Crockett that you rotated from teacher to teacher. I was fortunate enough to be able to do that in 5th and 6th grade, which luckily I had Mr. Elledge. Hello. Leave it up to me to call you out, Sarah. So, now, Mr. Elledge, I thought about calling, and some of the guys that I'm still friends with that we went to school with, but for me personally, Mr. Elledge was like having your dad as a teacher. There was probably, I don't know, a group of 4 or 5 of us that I know he absolutely dreaded every day us showing up to school, because we stayed in trouble. We were mean, but he was super good to us. He knew how to take a kid that stayed in trouble he could put his arms around you and make you feel like everything's going to be all right, no matter what you did, no matter how much trouble you're in. Again, he was like having a dad as your teacher. He was great to just learn a lot of stuff from. Most of the stuff that I remember about Mr. Elledge wasn't learned in the classroom. It was learned outside, sitting underneath trees. I remember one time we were outside, and he said, I can remember him now. He said, what kind of tree is that? I didn't have a clue what kind of tree it was. I just said whatever popped off, whatever popped in my brain. And he said, no, those only grow about to be that tall. And his tree was 50 feet tall. But he was good about basically what I just call giving you useless information. He was great at that. He just constantly did stuff like that. some of the things that I remember about him when Miss Nelda and I were talking, and she shared a couple things with me and I shared a couple things with her. I remember I grew up in Richland Acres. It bordered basically right up against the old Crockett School. And again, a group of, gosh, at that time there was probably 15 or 20 of us that were about the same age, within a year of each other. We all went to Crockett. And second, third, fourth grade, you know, you'd walk to school, or we got a little bigger and we could ride our bikes to school. And me and a few of my buddies, we rode our bikes and we zipped around the back of the school, and we just kind of made us a little loop and thought, nope, we're not going to school today. So we head back towards Richland Acres, going back home, and we got to one of the guys' house, and we were there, and all of a sudden we hear somebody pull up, and it's Mr. Elledge in his truck. And he pulls up there and he says, "Boys, what are y'all doing?" We thought, well, we're not going to school today. We're going to go fishing, or whatever it was we said we were going to do. He said, "No, you can do that after school." So he reaches down, he picks up our bikes, throws them in the back of his truck, and drives us right back to school. So, and I understand times are different and you can't do that today. I get it. But back then, I think he was a perfect teacher for the perfect time. In 2007, when he moved to Ingram South, I guess it was probably, I don't know if it was 2007 or 8 or even early 2009, part of the school year. My grandmother lived just down the road from Ingram South, and I'd stopped to see her one day, and he was outside at the outdoor classroom, and I thought, well, I'm going to pull in and talk to him. I hadn't seen him in a while, so I just pulled in, went out there and talked to him, and we talked, and I asked him, I said, "What made you move from Crockett?" Because he'd been out there for so long. And his answer was, he said, "I wanted to finish where I knew I could make a difference." What he didn't know was, no matter where he was, he made a difference. I think the reason why this is so hard for me to do is on November 23rd, 2009, Mr. Elledge went hunting. That afternoon, he was fortunate and he had killed a big deer. And according to Miss Elledge, he had called Nick and said he needed some help. And like the good son Nick was, he was there in 15 minutes. But what he didn't know was, between the phone call and when he got there, Mr. Elledge had passed away. And this is hard for me because 5 days short of being exactly 14 years later, on November 18th of this year, of 2023, I find myself sitting in a tree. And for whatever reason, my heart decides to stop. I fell 22 feet, hit the ground, and hitting the ground saved my life. The cardiologist told my wife that hitting the ground restarted my heart. If I'd been home in bed that morning, I wouldn't be here. And I'll be honest, over the last 5 months, whenever I knew it was my time to come around and do this, there was only one person I was going to recognize, because he had made such a difference in my life. And while a hunting trip for me turned out differently than it did for him, Miss Nelda told me that Mr. Elledge never felt like that he made a difference in kids' lives. I don't know that there's a man out there that's made any more of a difference in my life than him. And I know there's a lot of others that feel the same way. So I appreciate y'all's grace for me struggling to get through this, but I am very honored and very thankful that today I can recognize Mr. Johnny Elledge as our retired educator.
He's got that smile on. All right. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's get you. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. Next on the recognition tonight is the student recognition from Summertown Middle to Dr. Hallmark.
Good evening, everyone. I am super excited and humble and proud to talk about our student this year. Early in August, the student we're recognizing tonight began to put himself as a leader in our school. Today, when I was thinking about this, I would call him Pawpaw of Summertown Middle School. Started out in August. If we needed something done, he was there. He leads a group in the lunchroom all year. So when we come to lunch, high school has had lunch. He leads the group that takes the trash out, cleans the tables, and gets lunch ready for us. And then when we leave, so high school comes after us, he leads a group that does the same thing. So he is really taken that leave the world better than we found it to heart. And that's what I think Caden does. So that's one example. Another example is Caden saw that we had a need at our sports boarding events. We are first-time new middle school. High schoolers don't really come to middle school games, and he saw that we needed presence at the games. So as a football player, he would announce games, he would talk about games, he would try to get people to come out. When football ended and volleyball was going on, Caden was there leading the mess at volleyball games. He was there at basketball games leading the student section. He came and got cheers, got megaphones that we might have got in trouble with a few times, but that's fine. And also, he led the group that cleaned up the gym. So we had a moment that the gym was a pretty big mess after a game, and Caden had a group of boys, and they got trash bags, and after every ball game, and no adult had to take anything out. We had kids that cleaned that gym for us. So Mr. Porter, you're getting a good one. I hope he keeps doing that since he's leaving us. He's just an all-around good kid. And as you can see in the back, the people that are with him, that's the reason why. I truly believe those people around him are what made him our pawpaw of Summertown Middle School. So I'd like to honor Caden Potts as our Student of the Year for Summertown Middle.
Right there, right there. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Let's get family up there with it. Y'all get in there with it. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Congratulations, Caden.
Thank you.
Our next recognition tonight is student recognition from Summertown High School, and that's Mr. Porter.
Should I be facing this way or should I be facing this way?
Wherever you want, at your
I
podium.
really don't know which way I need to stand. But I will say this, Mr. Rochelle, there's a couple things. I had Mr. Elledge as well. And Mr. Elledge, Dr. Lynn, a lot of those guys at Crockett were outstanding educators. And I totally agree with you. Mr. Elledge was just an awesome man. Just hope one of these days to make just a tiny impact that he made. So I totally agree with you. But it's also good to see because Corey's quite a bit younger than me, but if you have to wear glasses, that just means we're both getting old. So I have my glasses just in case, but I do not think I need it for this. But I am fortunate to be able to recognize our Student of the Year at Summertown High School. And this young lady, of course, this is my first year at Summertown, jumped out to me at the very beginning, just how humble she is. And just she always has a smile on her face. It's just a young lady, you see her, she's always smiling, always has a positive, upbeat attitude. Just some of the things about Atlee. She's on the board of FCA. She serves in a leadership role with FCA. She's the vice president of the Beta Club. She is just so selfless with her time. She volunteers. She is the character coach for the Etheridge Lady Bulldogs at Etheridge Elementary School. She serves as their FCA character coach there. She's about to go on a 2-week mission trip to Ethiopia. She will be a nurse. Her plan is to attend UNA to be a nurse. Just one of the things about Atlee, she was a Horatio Alger Scholarship winner. Never really heard that term, but there's only 105 of those that are given in the United States. She was the only one that was selected in the state of Tennessee, and that is a $25,000 scholarship. And so that is a process that started at the end of her junior year and carried over into her senior year. And just, she has impeccable character and just an outstanding young lady. And it was just an easy choice when I was told that I needed to pick a Student of the Year, and that is Miss Atlee Thornton. So Miss Atlee, if you would come up here.
Glad she didn't use a flash.
You know, John, I thought about that, but I didn't.
You're perfect, yeah, I think it's awesome, y'all are great.
She got it.
It's a research. The power of the brain cell.
I agree 100%.
So I don't know what that means.
You don't believe everything you read, though.
I believe that. I really do.
We'll skip the TSBA.
Thank you, Ally. Nice job. Moving on to the next recognition, we're going to scrap the TSBA's boardmanship recognition and move on to the CTSO recognition. That would be Miss Watson. You up?
So thank you for the opportunity to recognize our CTSO winners. We did have an event a few weeks back where we had our CTE Night of the Stars, and many of our students were recognized at that event. But Mr. Atkins asked if we had some that wanted to come back to a board meeting and be recognized, but there's ball being played, there's vacations being taken, so we have one group of students that have joined us tonight, regardless of what all is going on. We have Loretta High School with us, Mary Pack and her students from Virtual Enterprise. So let's Mary to come forward and her students. And if you'll explain what they won.
Thank you for having us tonight. I teach business and virtual enterprise at Loretta High School, and if you're not familiar with what virtual enterprise is, our students have a job in the classroom every day. We run a virtual business online, and the name of our company is the Animal Kingdom Incorporated. We sell pets and pet supplies. And I have two of my chiefs with me here tonight. I have my CEO, Andrew Littleton, and my CMO, Ava Wright. We attended an event in late November last year that it's not exactly a state competition, it's more of a southern regional competition. It included over 40 schools from North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Texas, so it wasn't just a Tennessee event. And so at that event we had numerous competitions, and one of the things that we did as part of these competitions was set up a 10x10 booth. There were over 40 booths there, and it's basically your store for that evening, for that day of competition. And so the big, I guess the most coveted award at that event is the booth competition. Everybody wants to win first place in booth, and we won first place. So Ava and her team came up with the plan, the design. Of course, Andrew helped to execute that plan, and so they won first place at that event. And so that's one of the things. And then Andrew also won third place in the Leadership Challenge event that was held at that same venue. So we're very proud of these students.
One year, my daughter was in that program, and I think we ventured to New York. So do y'all still do New York? Exactly. What a fun trip, and I think Miss Watson remembers that trip, and I think Brian remembers that trip too. So. So we won't go there, but anyway. Next on the agenda tonight is public comments, and I don't believe we have any of those turned in. Moving on to consent items, I'd like to have the board just take a minute to look over the item E, and that's all the overnight trips that was approved. And I'd like to get a motion to approve A through E.
Motion to approve A through E.
We got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving on to report items. School report is Summertown Middle, and Dr. Hallmark, you have the stand again.
Three pages is a lot for 1 year. Thank you guys for having us again, and I'll give you a minute to do that, and you just let me know when you're ready. All right, so a little bit about Summertown Middle. This was our first year as Summertown Middle School. So we are a circle inside of a high school. So we're still with Summertown High School, but in name and many other things, we became our own school this year. We have about 200 students, so that's 2 grades, 7th and 8th grade students. We have 8 core academic teachers, so that's 4 teachers for 7th grade, 4 teachers for 8th grade. We have 2 exploratory teachers. One is a PE teacher and one teaches computer science, and those teachers teach both 7th and 8th grade. We have a special education teacher, and we have 1 special education assistant, myself as the principal, and then we have been given a behavior/special education interventionist there on campus. So that is the adults that lead our building. Next, a little bit about some of the awards and recognitions that we've gotten throughout the year. We were granted the STEM grant from TVA. We are one of 343 schools that received that. With that grant, we were able to purchase a 3D printer, and that is in our exploratory class in the computer science classroom. Our students worked together to deliver over 320 Christmas cards to nursing homes and spread Christmas cheer this year, so that was something we took on as community service. We also implemented a positive behavior program, so students were, if they were seen doing behaving appropriately, or what we called SOAR, which they were responsible, safe, ready to learn, they were given tickets for that, and they can use those tickets to go to several behavior events that you'll hear me talk about later. And then also they could get prizes. It was something that really tried to and really worked with building that middle school culture and changing behavior in that circle. With that, we were able to also visit, 7th grade was able to go to J.A. Vinance Park. We went this past week. They had a blast. They came back, most of them in debt, so they learned about that and learned about what they did not want to happen to them. They had a great time, and it was fun, and then also many of them hated their jobs. So they got a real experience of adulthood for some, not me. I love my job, but we added some clubs that the school had not had in the past. So we added student council to 8th grade. We added a yearbook club for 7th graders. We have a chess club that runs during lunch. A teacher decided to give up her lunch to teach students chess and give kids an opportunity to play chess. So they all ate lunch together, and you'll hear about our winners later. And this was the first time in several years that Summertown's middle school competed in the science fair. Our exploratory class decided to help bring more guests into the building and bring the community to kids. We firmly believe that if students don't see it, they can't be it. So we brought 5 guest speakers from various positions in our community to talk about their job and careers. We also got a visit from News 2 Megan Thomas, where she met with all of our 7th and 8th grade students, learned about the weather, learned about her job, got a little snapshot on TV. So that was fun. Next, some parent involvement that we had. We have had Title I meetings. So Summertown Middle School is not Title I. This is our first year, but we still carried that over just to get parents in the building and kind of talk with the parents about why we're not Title I and get those information to them. We had a record attendance for our first home basketball game. We sold out food and tickets before the boys' game started. So if some of you were there, if you were able to be there for that, there was barely anywhere to sit, especially for our first home game. We joined with Summertown High School and did Winter Fine Arts, where our band participated. Our band has 7th grade students have 7th grade band, and our 8th grade band joins with the high school. So we had that going on with our spaghetti supper and auction together. We had some 8th grade parent meetings. We had the 7th grade fine arts night. We had a 7th grade transition. We worked with Meet the Eagles. We had open house. I feel like today, like I said when I was writing this, how did we do all this in 1 year? Next page. Our academic strength, that is coming soon. We are the first year of the school, so we do not necessarily have data just for 7th and 8th grade from years past. So we are going to be excited to see what we did this year for both achievement, academic achievement and academic strengths. We have several students that made, not record-breaking, but made the news for their accomplishments this year. We had Finley Long and Paisley Campbell, our all-sectional golf team. They also went to state, and they got fourth in the state for golf this spring. This was the first year that Summertown Middle School went to the golf tournament, and the first year that TSSAA hosted that type of tournament. So we were a success with that. Our volleyball made it to sectionals, and they were also the Area 14 champs. So we're continuing that legacy of non-academic achievements with us. Our Summertown Middle School girls won Area 13 championships, and they also went to sectionals. Our boys placed third and in our area championship. I told you about golf. Softball was district champions, sectional champions, and I hope you saw it in the newspaper. We won state champions also. So that was huge accolades for girls sports, and that continuing that tradition at Summertown. Our bass fishing team went to state also. Caden, that student that we just honored, he's part of that team also. We brought back and started an official student section this year. We called that the Mess. I've told you about our SOAR program already. That's that positive behavior program we did. We brought several dances this year. That's something that the students wanted, and teachers worked with them to create that opportunity for them. If you haven't been to a middle school dance and you ever want to come to them. They're fun. They don't dance. They eat and run. They just eat and run around and change the music all the time, but it is a lot of fun. We also let them have a semi-formal, so that's something that they had begged for, and we got that for them. The chess club, which we talked about at lunch, that's our first club, and Jake Flippo was one of our students that won that. We were able to get him and some high school students that are really good at chess to play. Coach Long set some stuff up in the gym for them to play, and our middle school student beat the high school or the senior, and the next senior that was supposed to play him backed out. So if you are good at chess, please come and visit, because he needs some competition. I'm tired of getting beat by him. Ms. Schrader's tired of getting beat by him. So if you could be competition, I need that next year, please. We had our Interact Club also. They worked and handed out candy for Halloween this year. Interact did a food drive, and our school counselor, if you ever meet her name's Darian Johnson. She's amazing. She has a lot of these things happen because we have her at our school. But she organized Kentucky Kingdom for our 8th graders. So they have not ever, to my knowledge, had something like that, an 8th grade trip. And so we went on Monday. And we left about 5 a.m., got back about 9. No one was sunburned. No one got too sick because many have not been out of the state or had been on a ride of any kind. So that was great. Now a little bit about our faculty and staff. Sarah Weigel is our science teacher. She is consistently a level 5 teacher, and she was named our Teacher of the Year this year. We started something called Croctoberfest. So that was a culture building opportunity for our teachers, but the kids also loved hearing about it. But Mr. Horton, who is our 7th grade social studies teacher, won grand champion, so he had the best dish. Miss Darian had the best dip, and Officer Marks participated, SRO at the high school, and he won the best savory. Mr. Horton, who was our 7th grade social studies teacher, well, he's going to 8th grade next year, but he is also a musician, and his band released a new song. And we did a big event for him and played the song. We play them at all of our ball games, but it has over 1 million views on YouTube now. So we hope we get to keep him and he doesn't leave and get all famous on us. But if he does, we'll be proud of him. And Katie Busby, who is our golf coach, she was named Middle Region Coach of the Year this year. And then lastly on this, we have a few projects in the works. We are still working out details for our greenhouse. Many of those pieces have been delivered. Timing is soon, we believe, for that to get started and ground to break on that. And we are wanting to further STEM implementation. We started some STEM components throughout the school in science and in computer science class, but we would like to further add more STEM opportunities for our students. Our students come from SES, which where I was for several years before, and they have gotten STEM all those years, and that's something our students want, and we're going to continue to strive to get what our students want for them. So that is my report of all the wonderful things we did. I thought first year I probably don't need to ask for anything or complain about anything. I need to just tell you, here's all the great things we did. And do y'all have any questions or anything that you want to know more about SMS?
Sounds like you're doing a very good job.
That's what I was going to say.
We're trying.
Especially for the first year, I thought I would never see a middle school in summertime. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Keep up the great work, and I know it's going to go for many, many years. And I mean, look at all. No wonder the high school has so many accomplishments in the sports, because it starts young. My gosh, I mean, this is outstanding. So keep up the great work. Keep up the great work.
Yeah, we filled up a trophy case this year, so we're going to have to purchase a new trophy case.
There you go. There you go.
But it's full from Knowledge Bowl and all of our sports.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Great.
Next school report is Summertown High School, Mr. Porter.
Rochelle, I'm going to have to put my glasses on now. So, just to make sure I do not forget some of my wonderful notes. So basically, first thing I want to do is, Mr. Crusoe, thank you, the board, Mr. Atkins, appreciate you giving us the opportunity to come and just kind of share with you some of the things that are taking place at Summertown High School. And so I shared with you some information earlier, did not want to bore you with a lot of the things. So what I have done tonight is I have gone through my notes, and I have made some notes as far as our successes, some of our challenges, some of our capital projects that have been taking place, and some of the long-range goals hopefully we will start looking into very soon, because I firmly believe I want to be as transparent as we can, because yes, hey, we want to celebrate our successes, but we also know that there's things that we have to do, we have to get better at, and I appreciate you giving me a few minutes tonight just to kind of share with you what's taking place at Summertown High School. Again, we do have 52 employees. We have 36 teachers. Of those 36 teachers, 2 of those are employed through TCAT. And then we have approximately 387 students. And the state evaluation model, this past year, our letter grade was a C. We were 1/10 of a point away from a B, but now some of that is skewed a little bit because middle school data was calculated into this grade, because last year we were all under one roof. We were a middle school and high school operating under the name Summertown High School. So those were just a little bit skewed. Some of our challenges, just to share with you tonight, and please, if you have any questions, please stop me. I want to make sure I answer any questions you may have. The first and foremost, they're not complaints. When I say these are challenges, these are not complaints. I might have a complaint or two in a minute, but very, very few of those. Just kidding. But some of our challenges, like any other school that I have been at, is the multiple buildings that we have at Summertown High School. And one of the things that I feel like has changed so much in the last 16 or 17 years that I have been an administrator, school safety is the first priority, is making sure that our kids are safe and our faculty and staff is safe. And where our school is located, it's nobody's fault, but we have a road that goes all the way around our campus, and we have 6 different buildings when this multi-purpose building will be complete. We have 6 different buildings on our campus, and kids are constantly outside of those buildings walking to and from classes. Again, there's nothing we can do about that, but that is a challenge that concerns me every single day when we have kids that are outside those buildings. One of the challenges that we definitely faced last summer when I was hired, I think toward the end of June, might have been the middle of June. It's kind of been a whirlwind since then, but we've had to hire 11 professional employees. 11. And when you see that we only have 36 professional employees altogether, and last summer we had to hire 11, so that's almost a third. So that can be a challenge, but that can also be a good thing. And I'm saying academically, our letter grades, that was definitely a challenge this year. Now a lot of these teachers are new, so we don't really know what that data is going to be, but that has been a challenge because 30% of our teachers on our staff right now, 30% of them have 3 years or less teaching experience. And so it is what it is. I think we have an outstanding faculty and staff, but that's just kind of where we are as a staff. Our growth scores, to be honest, I'm a huge growth guy. And basically, most of you probably know what growth is. When a kid starts at Summertown on day one of this past year, we have no control where they start at. Some of them might be above average, some of them might be below average. That's irrelevant. But at the end of the school year, how have we moved those kids? Have we made them move forward? Have they gotten better during their time with us? So our growth scores are not where we want them to be. Again, level 1 is the lowest, significantly below expectations. We were a level 2. We're below expectations, and that is an area that we're addressing. That's something that we are going to fix, but that's just where we are right now. And so I can give you several reasons why I think we're there, but the matter of the fact is we're a level 2 right now, and I don't like that, and we're going to get that fixed, but that's just where we are. ACT scores, our average ACT score for past year was 18.4, and that's okay. It's not where we want it to be. We'd love for it to be 21. But that's not where it is right now. We're offering some ACT incentives. We're doing some things, ACT prep, to try to improve that. But again, the ACT scores are not where we want them to be. It's projected next year that number with this junior class will be a 19.4. So you're looking at a 1-point jump from this year to next year. And so I think we're moving in the right direction. Some of the things that we're trying to implement definitely going to move us in the right direction. One issue with our facility, many of you know our gym. I love Summertown High School gym. If you do not know, I began my teaching career there 25 years ago. I spent nine years at Summertown. Absolutely loved it. It was a joy to be there, coach basketball in that gym. Love that gym, but the gym is very limited. It causes a lot of issues. Folks trying to get in and out of that gym. There's one way in and there's one way out, which causes traffic issues, traffic flow issues. That is something that definitely needs to be addressed at some point. And just for one thing, the handicap accessibility of our gym. It's not very good. And we've had some issues this past year on a young man that was in a wheelchair, could not get in to the gym, and so it is what it is, trying to do the best we can, but that definitely is one of the challenges. And then also, we're one of the only schools in the county right now that has 7 through 12, and we have one functional gym. And that causes a lot of different issues. When you have middle school boys and girls basketball, you have middle school volleyball, boys and girls, high school basketball trying to take place along with JV teams, and you only have one functional gym. That definitely causes some issue. There's some help on the way with the multi-purpose building, and I will speak on that in just a minute. And then another challenge I mentioned is just 2 separate schools in the same building. That causes a lot of issues, and I know Dr. Hallmark probably don't want to say a whole lot about some of the issues, but that definitely does cause some issues. Bell schedules are different. Intercom, we have one intercom system, and so when I make an announcement, it goes through the whole building. During testing schedules are different. It's logistically can cause a lot of issues. Now, we manage it, and we can manage it, and we will do, but it takes a lot of planning and preparation to make sure, especially during the testing schedule, that the high school is not interfering with the middle school testing schedule and vice versa. So that is definitely something that we have to stay on top of. I know toward the end of the school year with our bell system, I had to make an announcement in middle school was still testing, and it is what it is. There was really no other way for me to give instructions other than having to make that announcement, but it was actually during their testing time. Cell phone coverage up there, it is what it is in our building. It can be very, very, it's very poor. Really, there's some things that we're trying to look at, some extenders and things like that to try to help with our cell phone issues, because if there is an emergency, a lot of times our cell phones are of no value inside that school building. And then the last really challenge, concern for us, Miss Anita Smith. Miss Anita has been she has been a staple at Summertown High School. She has been an attendance secretary. She's been over books. She has done pretty much everything that you could imagine, and she has done a remarkable job. She is retiring. She's been there 21 years. She's going to be a mama, is what she's going to do. And I don't blame her a bit, but that is going to be a huge loss for us because she is a outstanding lady, always has a smile on her face, knows everybody that walks through those doors. She can give you a history on everybody that comes in there. But her and Billie Jean Brewer, and Miss Billie Jean was a custodian there when I started 16 years ago, 26 years ago, and does an outstanding job as well. She is retiring in the end of July. So those two ladies are going to be a huge loss for our school. We will be able to hire those positions, but I don't know that we will be able to replace them. They just do so much. Any questions on anything so far?
I do, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Porter, back to the school safety and the road around the school. I'm talking with one of your assistants, Mr. Burleson, and he had proposed an idea about somehow limiting that road, and of course with the future plans that we as a board may be looking at to expand that campus in the future. But what can be done before next year to help mitigate that, and how much, do you have any ideas on what we could do to limit that access or do something different with that road going through the middle of your campus?
You know, I think it starts with West College Street, being able to just shut that road down during the school day, especially to through traffic, because we do have a lot of our kids that are easily accessible through that front road. So that's the only thing that we've talked about, what can we do, and there's not a whole lot of great solutions there, but one thing that I do think would help would be able to limit access during school hours on West College Street.
And that's the one that goes in front of the gym?
Front of the gym, yes sir. Yes sir.
So would you put guarding up, so you open it up for the beginning of the day to let students come into the parking lot, and then once school started, you close that off?
Right, well, and then that's the thing, all of our packages and things like that, people having to come through, they have to be able to get to that front office area. And so, like I said, we have tried to brainstorm, and there's really not a good, we couldn't come up with a very good solution, just to be perfectly honest, because of that. Because if it would be great if we could put a gate, but then somebody would have to stand out there and monitor UPS, FedEx, parents coming to pick up kids, things like that. So there's just really not a good answer for that right now.
Isn't that a public access? So that would be a commission.
It is right now, yes sir.
Yeah. Go ahead, John.
One other quick follow-up question I had, and I guess I'll throw this to Mr. Atkins, if you can look into it with the IT department, but there has got to be some way to get separation on this intercom system to where he's not having to interrupt. The middle school is in the circle. They ought to be able to isolate and not interrupt that circle. It's technology, that's doable. Can we find out what's got to be done to make that happen?
Yeah, we'll look into that.
Thank you.
And Mr. Daniels, we've talked to systems integration a little bit, and I've talked to Mr. Tucker a little bit about trying to separate that. I think they can make some adjustments on that, I think, where they separate, because right now, there's still 2 or 3 speakers in the hallway when we make high school announcement that it goes into the middle school. So I think if they could get that resolved, and I think they can, that would help tremendously as far as the intercom system
Well, I'm
goes.
just confident the technology's that,
Yes, sir.
that can be made to happen. So
Yes, sir.
Let's just get that done.
Anything else? Some of the successes at Summertown High School, there's several things here. We were a level 4 growth in geometry. Again, as I talked about growth, how we move kids from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. So we have good teachers. We have a lot of good things taking place right now. We were a level 3 growth in English, and so we're making some really vital steps in some areas, and I know we will continue to make those in other subject areas as well. Our achievement scores in English were very good. They were 43%, and basically what that means, 43% of the kids that took the English 1 and English 2 end of course assessment last year met or exceeded expectations, and that 43% was above the state average. So that is definitely a plus. We had 5 students take and pass the state dual credit U.S. history exam. Very, very challenging exam. And what is so remarkable about that is we have a first-year teacher that's teaching that class and doing an amazing job, Miss Dinwiddie. And then we also had 1 student take and pass the state dual credit pre-cal exam. Again, that is a very challenging exam, and so very excited about those kids that did extremely well on those state dual credit exams. We had a band student, Chris Blackston, was chosen to participate in the Music City Drum Corps. That's a remarkable feat. Again, they have to go through a lot of a lot of tryouts. They have to go through a lot of auditions to be selected to that. Very few kids get selected to be a part of that, and he was selected to do that, and he will participate in that this summer. And as I mentioned, our Student of the Year, Miss Atlee Thornton, that Horatio Alger Scholarship, just amazing. All the things that she has had to do since the end of her junior year. She's had to have Google Meets with this committee about, what is her plans, what does she tend to do, how is she going to use this money, and she's had to do those monthly meetings, and she was selected, again, the only one in Tennessee and only one of 105 that were given in the United States. Just an amazing, speaks volumes to her and just her work ethic and just what type of awesome young lady she is. Skills USA, we had a gold medal winner this year in 3-man welding fabrication. Mr. Carroll is our welding teacher through TCAT. And then we had 3 of our high school students went and won the state competition in Chattanooga. Noah Daniel, Alec Watkins, and Joseph Maley were the winners in that. And just the work that they do, I spoke on them at awards night just to see some of the things that CTE Skills are teaching and training these young men and women. It's amazing, and so I appreciate the school board. I appreciate our CTE supervisors, Ms. Watson, for all the hard work that she has done, and Ms. Hope for I know the work that she's going to do moving forward. But it's just amazing, the CTE programs and what these kids are being trained to do, because we know not every kid is going to college to be an English, math, science, or social studies major. What about these kids that can weld, plumbing and electrical, construction? And we just have an outstanding CTE program in this county. And so again, that kudos to the school board and to our supervisor in CTE for making that a priority in our county. We had 8 students pass the CNA exam, which is awesome for them, because I've spoken to a couple of those seniors that are already working in the nursing home right now, because they're a leg up from students who have not been able to take and pass the CNA exam. And now just moving into sports a little bit. And yes, Summertown High School is known for sports, but there's a lot of other things that take place up there that's really, really remarkable. But this first 2 that I'm going to speak on is just really, really unreal. The girls golf team won their 6th straight championship last year in the fall. 6 straight. That's a TSAA public school record. 6 straight. They haven't lost a match in 4 years. They're 237-0 in the last 4 years. You think about that for a second. 237-0 over the last 4 years. We also had Carly Campbell, which was the individual small school winner for the Ladies State Championship this year. She's going on to Kentucky to play golf there on a scholarship. And then Cole Campbell represented the individual boys at the golf state championship this year. Cole won that last year as a as a sophomore. And then our tennis team right now, our individuals, they're still playing. So we have a single that's going on tomorrow, Miss Libby Kinnick. She plays in the state championship game in the morning at 9 a.m. And then we have a doubles team that's also playing in the morning at 9 a.m. Annalie Kelly and Miss Emma Perry will be playing in the doubles. So this awesome. And then our tennis team yesterday won their 3rd straight team championship in girls. 3rd straight. And so they haven't lost a tennis match in 3 years. So, I mean, that's just kind of remarkable, some of the things that are taking place there. Coach Andrea Kelly does an outstanding job with our tennis program. John and Stacy Campbell do an outstanding job with our golf teams as well. And then moving on to baseball, softball, girls basketball, all made sub-state appearances. Our cross-country team, our girls went as a team, because a lot of these, and I'm still trying to figure out, I've always been athletic-minded, but in tennis, so tennis you can play individually, and then you can play as a team. golf, you can play individually, and then you can play as a team. So almost these young ladies and men that are playing as a team and individuals, it's almost like they're playing in two separate state championships, because they're playing in a team championship and then they're playing in the individual championship. Cross country was the same way. Our cross country girls went to the state championship as a team, and then Andrew Mabry went and represented Summertown High School as an individual. I don't know if he got any of those genes from his granddad or not, but maybe he did. Most of those, okay. And then our student council organization was something that just when I started at Summertown talking to the kids, they're like, Mr. Porter, we want to be able to get more involved. How can we get more involved in the school? SGA, some people call it student government, student council. Basically, it's just a leadership amongst our students, give them a lot of say as far as helping in the community, helping in the school to try to help boost student morale. And so we've had a couple of teachers that says, hey, let us get this going, let us get that started. Miss Dollar and Miss Kleiner have done an outstanding job, and that's only going to continue to get better. So I appreciate them taking care of that for us. And as I've mentioned, we have an outstanding faculty, staff, and community at Summertown, and so it's just a great place to work. It's an honor to work alongside of the outstanding teachers and staff that we have. Something else very proud of, I don't know that you would call it a success maybe, but I wanted to put it in. And again, thanks to Ms. Watson for the cosmetology program. That cosmetology program will start next fall. We have not had a cosmetology program, but that is underway. All the equipment's been ordered, and so I'm looking forward to that getting started as well. And then one of the things that we do up there that's really, really neat, it's called the Spirit of the Eagle. And we have a couple of teachers that oversee this. And basically what it does, we raise funds, community folks pitch into this, but we help kids, families that are in need in our community. And last year, one of the things that the Spirit of the Eagle did was they did a Christmas store. And so teachers turn students' names in. Sometimes students turn other students' names in, kids that are struggling, that are having a hard time, families are having a hard time. And then we ask those kids, hey, would you be okay if we put your name into our Christmas store? And basically what happens, the kids either say yes or no. We also notify the parents, make sure the parents are good with that. But then some of our faculty will go out and they buy all kinds of stuff. And it's just so awesome. And they set it up in a classroom. And it's almost like you're walking into a Walmart, but it's for high school age kids. It's clothes, it's just all kinds of things, and they get to walk around and pick several different things that they would like to have for Christmas. And then we also allow them, if they have younger brothers or sister, they get to pick 2 or 3 things for their younger siblings to make sure that they and their siblings have something under the tree at Christmas. And it's amazing. It's the first time I got to witness that. Kind of gives me coach chills just to talk about it. But just to see how thankful these kids are. And me, one, to realize how spoiled I am, that when you get high school kids that walk in and they're excited that they get socks and things like that, that you wouldn't even think kids would be excited about, but they don't have a lot. And it's just so amazing to watch those kids come in there and to see that those kids are more excited about getting something for their siblings than they are for themselves. And so that's just something that I have got to witness this year that's just been really remarkable. And the community has been great about donating money and a lot of different items that we have, and that's just really awesome. And then our teacher of the year this year was Mr. Derek Murphy. If the glasses doesn't tell me that I'm getting old, I taught Mr. Murphy. And I can remember when I was at Summertown listening to Kitty Campbell, Curtis Peters, Ricky Haddock, all those old farts that I thought were old at the time, and now I'm their age. But talking about, you know, you're getting old when you start seeing a lot of the kids that you have taught come through there. Well, I taught Mr. Murphy, and there's no way in my mind that he should be teaching at Summertown High School, but he's only been there for about 15 years. But he was our teacher of the year this year, does an outstanding job. Kids love him. He just makes learning very fun and interesting. But he was our teacher of the year. Any questions, comments regarding our successes?
Mr. Porter,
Yes, sir.
you failed to mention who your pre-cal student was that passed the test.
You know what? Because I couldn't get his name today, so I apologize. for that. Was that Andrew Mabry?
I think so.
Okay. Well, I know for sure that he did not get his smarts from
He got that
his
from
granddad.
He got that from Nana. He didn't
Gotcha,
get that-
absolutely. We were all very aware of that, so, and then, anything else? Great question. Comment, anything? I told Ms. Coate that I wanted to see, have y'all ever told anybody to sit down and shut up? Anybody? Okay, well, tonight's gonna be the night. Tonight's gonna be it.
We're close.
Okay?
Almost there.
I just want to say, it's a pleasure to have you and the energy you bring to Summertown and the things that are going on. I'm excited. The community is excited, and I thank you personally.
Thank you, Mr. Daniel. I'm not finished, though. But I appreciate if you're trying to run me off, I'm not finished.
Moving on.
So, but really, in all seriousness, the capital project, some things that the school board has approved with the multi-purpose building is going to be a huge asset to Summertown, to the middle school, and I appreciate your willingness to appropriate the funds for a multi-purpose building and also for the football field for it to get started. And so I appreciate that. I'll stop now since I can tell you're getting a little restless, and I definitely don't want to keep some of you up past your bedtime. But if you have anything else that you would like to add, any questions, I'll be glad to answer those.
Any further questions? Thank you, Mr. Porter.
Wow. Okay.
Moving on to personnel report. I believe that was in your packet. Any questions or comments regarding that? Moving on to item C is Director's update, Mr. Atkins.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Budget season hopefully will take a step closer here in a few moments of being complete. Mrs. Elledge and I will speak or present to the County Commission Budget Committee next Thursday, I believe. So we've got that information ready to share with them. Third grade data, we're waiting for some of that. That is still fluctuating with retakes, information coming in and that processing of that. So we'll get that information hopefully in the weekly update, give you a little bit of information on that. Summer school begins May 28th through June 20th. I have several teachers who have signed up to work summer school. Summer school in Lawrence County has been a tremendous success the last several years. Our teachers give of themselves, bus drivers, cafeteria, nurses, just a number of folks to make that successful. And when I talk to other districts about their programs, they're in awe of what we're able to do. And so many thanks to all those folks who are giving a few weeks of their summer this year to help our students. As mentioned, our athletic accomplishments, but before we get there, I do want to mention 40 years of the Knowledge Bowl in Lawrence County. Just celebrated 40 years of that program, and several of our schools did very well. We'll get some information to you about that, but that's a great event. It's hosted at the college, and the kids participate. They work hard. Their sponsors work hard, and it's competitive. And you have to have referees sometimes because it does get competitive out there with those folks. But it's a great program. E.O. Kaufman baseball, perfect season, state champions. We mentioned Summertown High School tennis champions again. Loretta, I believe, is back in the state championship tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Summertown Middle School state champions. So a lot of great things happening in Lawrence County this time of year. You're going to see tonight, let me back up, changes to the calendar for next year. I do want to mention that Summertown High School has requested and we've approved their graduation date next year to return to Thursday night. For the last couple of years, I believe it's on Saturday night, but they're moving that back to Thursday, May 15th at 6 o'clock, and then at Loretta that night, it's 8 o'clock, and then Lawrence County at 7 o'clock on Friday, and J.C. Barnett on Saturday. That's just a simple change that Mr. Porter and his staff will communicate out to the class of 2025. The RFQ that we submitted or put out for bid or request for qualifications, that is due June 13th. That is that study where we will look at long-term growth, capacity issues, enrollment, just a number of things. I'm not sure how many have submitted, but they will. The deadline is June 13th. Upcoming events this week, the athletic recognition is Thursday night, May 30th at 5 p.m. at Historic Crockett Theater. It's always a great event to come out and see those students. And then following that event will be the X-Sports Hall of Fame inaugural ceremony. So come out and be a part of that as well. Do want to express our appreciation to the board for the meal today. We brought in assistant principals, everyone at the board, and we've had several folks, and they may have already reached out to you thanking you for that, but that was awfully nice of the board to feed our folks today. So thank you on behalf of assistant principals in the central office. Great things happening in Lawrence County because of great people. As Mr. Rochelle talked about in his presentation, we have an opportunity each and every day to make a difference in the life of a child, and you have a board member presenting someone who made a difference in his life years ago. So we're very thankful and blessed in Lawrence County to have dedicated men and women. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions for Mr. Atkins? And we also want to, as a board and myself, to once again congratulate Mr. Atkins for being the Director of the Year for this time. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Like he said, Lawrence County is growing, and there's a lot of good things happening in our system. I'd like to take a moment to ask Mr. Tucker a quick question. At the leak at Lawrence County High School, is that fixed, or has that been working on that?
Fixed today.
Okay, so there's no more. Everything's good. And did they find it the first time?
They found it in 1 day and a half.
Mr. Chairman, I personally walked over today to inspect the little gauge that was the telltale sign of a leak, and it was not moving. So we were very, very pleased with that. Mr. Jones did great work on that.
Good deal. So was it error on our part, or the city, or I mean, have we reached out to the city to get some kind of reimbursement or something? Or I'm sure it's going to cost us a lot of money.
It was on our side of things, but
so we can't. I mean, we just eat the cost and go on. Okay, thank you. Moving on to D, LCEA. Do you have any? You got the mic.
I was just going to say that our MOU, our memorandum of understanding, is up for vote later on, and we hope you pass it.
Thank you. I'm sure this will come up. And moving on to E, Tennessee Legislative Network. I don't think there's any update on that. I did see some of the comments on Facebook going on with the retention for the 3rd grade. So there is a lot of teachers complaining, how unfair it is, and it is. And the only thing I would like to comment or say to that is just vote. Get out and vote. Change the system, and that's the only way it's gonna be changed is to vote and put other people in there that can better benefit the school system. Moving on to item 3 for consideration discussion is executive committee items. We had 2 to be put on today that was not approved, so it was so close to the agenda, so me and Mr. Atkins decided we'll just get them on the agenda for today, and you can see and we'll take 1 and 2, and we'll do individually for those to give you a number to read over, and we'll take motions in a second.
Making a motion to approve.
Second.
We got a motion to approve. Is that for 1 and 2, or just for the 1?
I'll do it one at a time. So for 1.
Very good. So we got a motion to approve for 1 and a second. Please call roll.
Caruso.
Aye.
Daniel.
Yes.
Dryden.
Yes.
Hartsfield.
Yes.
Mabry.
Aye.
Noddert.
Yes.
Rochelle.
Yes.
Weathers.
Yes.
8 ayes.
Motion carries. And moving on to the district-wide air filtration system. And I do want to comment that these both are coming out of the ESSER funds 3.0, so it's not in the general public. So
Mr. Chairman.
A motion, go ahead.
I'd like to move, we approve item 2.
We have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please call roll.
Weathers,
Yes.
Rochelle,
Yes.
Nodder,
Yes.
Mabry, Hartsfield,
Yes.
Dryden,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Caruso,
Yes.
8 ayes.
Moving on again to a budget for consideration, and we have several of them from 1 all the way to 19. I would like to interject here that from 1 to 11, we'll take those individually and vote on them as a item. And then from moving on to number 12 through 19, we can vote as a whole because they are, again, from the ESSER 3.0 budget. And, we like to spend that money or we'll give it back. And I would not like to give back the money that is given to us. So we'll take item number 1 as approval of the 24-25 budget.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
I move we approve 1 through 11.
So we have a motion on the floor to approve 1 through 11. Do I have a second?
Second.
So we have a motion to approve 1 through 11. All in favor say aye. All opposed?
We probably need to take
No,
a
you
roll
need
call
to-
vote
Yeah.
on
There you
that.
go. We'll take
Yes,
a vote. We'll take a vote of roll calls. So go ahead and do that, please.
Caruso,
Aye.
Daniel,
Yes.
Dryden.
Yes.
Hartsfield.
Yes.
Mabry.
Aye.
Nodder,
Yes.
Rochelle,
Yes.
Weathers,
Yes.
8 ayes.
Motion carries. And moving on, like I said earlier, 12 through 19 is the ESSER .30 dollars that was given to us from the state. I'll give you a moment to look over those and give a motion and a second if you would like.
I would now give a motion to approve those items, please.
We have a motion and a second. 12 through 19, please call roll.
Weathers,
Yes.
Rochelle,
Yes.
Nodder,
Yes.
Mabry,
Aye.
Hartsfield,
Yes.
Dryden,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Caruso,
Yes.
8 ayes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to curriculum items for consideration. We have one on the agenda, which is approval of special courses. Mr. Atkins?
And we have that on there as kind of a standing item, but I don't believe the state has submitted anything to us as of 4 o'clock this afternoon. Yep, so we won't have anything, Mr. Chairman.
So we just scratch that?
Yes.
Okay. So remove that, no, and then moving on to the policy items on number 6. We have 1 through 4. Give it a moment to look over those policies. They were in your packet as well. Are there any questions or comments?
I'd like to move that we approve these policies as they have been presented.
We have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Are there any questions regarding these policies while you're looking over or you have a chance to look them over? Very well. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Moving on to item 7, other items for consideration. Under A, approval for differential pay plan. Mr. Atkins.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is an annual requirement by the state. We have expanded this over the last several years to address some of our hard-to-fill positions. One of those, special education, we have a budget item in there for that. We do have mentors working with our folks. So there's things within that has allows us to recruit and attract folks to the Lawrence County school system, and when they get here, we have the means and the folks to help with those beginning teachers new to the system and so forth. So be happy to answer any questions on any of this.
Okay. Are these current or incoming or both? For special ed?
It would be all special education.
Current and
Yes, sir. Yes, all special education teachers.
Thank you.
We have a motion and a second.
Move with that.
We have a motion. Do I have a second on the floor?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any further questions for Mr. Atkins? Please call roll.
Caruso,
Aye.
Daniel,
Yes.
Dryden,
Yes.
Hartsfield,
Yes.
Mabry,
Aye.
Nodert,
Yes.
Rochelle,
Yes.
Weathers,
Yes.
8 yes.
And motion carries. Moving on to item B, approval for MOU for Lawrence County Board of Education and Lawrence County Education Association.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we had productive meetings with LCA this time. I thought it was probably one of our more productive meetings that we've had over the last several years. Made a few changes to the MOU, but overall, it pretty much remains intact as it was, and we've already got the signatures on that, so it's before you for approval.
Can I get
Make a motion to approve.
I have a motion and a second. Are there any questions for Mr. Atkins on the MOU? Very well. Please call roll.
Weathers,
Yes.
Rochelle,
Yes.
Nodert,
Yes.
Mabry,
Aye.
Hartsfield,
Yes.
Dryden,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Caruso,
Yes.
8 yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to item C, approval of amendment to the lease agreement for Lawrence County Board of Education in the city of Lawrenceburg. Mr. Atkins?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we currently have a lease with the city, several pieces of our property that we have leased out to them until the year 2050. The area just north of the tennis courts where the pickleball courts will be placed would become a part of that lease, and that would expire on 2050. There's no cost to us. It's just allowing the city to incorporate or add that to the current lease for the pickleball courts. The agreements for the tennis courts and the pickleball courts remain as they do for use of any of the facilities currently in place. So it would not really cause us any trouble. It's just an ongoing agreement, but that end year is 2050, and I believe that started in the year 2000 with the board entering into agreements, maybe a little bit earlier on a couple of places.
Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion to approve. Any second? Are there any questions for Mr. Atkins at this time?
Mr. Chairman, I got a question.
Very good.
Mr. Atkins, just out of curiosity, on this from a legal liability standpoint, you know, if one of our athletes gets hurt playing tennis, then the school system's liable. On a weekend or some other time outside of school, since this is leased, if a community member gets hurt on it, or is the city now liable? Not us?
Yes, the city covers the insurance, and that we do cover our student athletes on that. That's kind of the joint agreement.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? Please call roll.
Caruso,
Aye.
Daniel,
Yes.
Dryden,
Yes.
Hartsfield,
Yes.
Mabry,
Aye.
Nodert,
Yes.
Rochelle, Weathers,
Yes.
8 ayes.
Motion carries. And finally, on D, is our next board meeting will be June 20th at 5:30. Are there any objections to that meeting time or date? Very well. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? Second. Meeting adjourned.